Welcome to the Move with Motus Podcast. My name is Dr. Christopher Ellis, and joining me is personal trainer John Williams. We are the owners of Motus Personal Training and Physiotherapy. Together, we will discuss any topic you can think of when it comes to training and rehab. From the carnivore diet to hip impingement, you can be sure that all your questions will be answered. Enjoy this week's episode. Sarcasm constantly.
I think life would be sad if you just couldn't make fun of people.
I know. I was going to make fun of you in the last podcast, your broken face story. Be like, oh, that explains your face and your teeth.
See, that would have been good. You should have thrown that out there.
Maybe I'll just include this on this podcast.
Well, you already did, it looks like.
I'm recording. All right, so we're back to ankles again, John.
Well, my foot hurts, and I need you to fix it.
You and your ankles. All right, what's going on?
It's my right foot. It's owie.
It's owie, okay. When did it start?
Two weeks ago, it started when I was playing basketball.
Uh-huh.
I just went out there and just started kind of running around. Didn't do any sort of warm-up, no prep. And I already have a tight right ankle as it is.
Yep.
And I started getting this hot pain on my heel.
Okay.
Right at the attachment point for some of those intrinsic foot muscles on the bottom of my foot.
Did you rest it, ice it, compress it, and elevate it?
I did all of those things. I've been doing that for the past 2 weeks. Should I have been?
No, I hate that. Don't do that.
No, I have not been doing that.
Okay.
But pretty much what happened, now the heel pain is gone, but now I have pain on the top of my foot.
Yep. All
So
right.
when I go to run or jump, that's where the pain is.
Super common. I haven't, folks, just so you know, I have not looked at his ankle. I'm just guessing here, but this is what happens a lot.
And this is what you should do in medical practice, is guess often.
Yeah, guess and give advice over a podcast of what to do.
Yep.
No, but this is a common pattern where you see stiffness on the back, right? So like the calf or maybe the fascia or the muscles of the arch or even just joint stiffness, and it creates a lack of ankle dorsiflexion. And most ankle issues come down to lack of dorsiflexion.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then the muscles in the front that do the opposite, that have to lift that they do dorsiflexion, have to work against the stiffness. So it's kind of like running around with a handbrake on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get an overuse injury to something in the front. So in your case, if it's more into the toes, it's probably extensor digitorum, the longest. That's the name of the muscle. It does toe extension. So if you're trying to clear your foot from the ground and dorsiflex, the whole ankle will come up, and then the toes will also come up. So it could be either the extensor digitorum or your tibialis anterior.
Yeah, and I think that makes perfect sense because I was a little bit, after I was getting that heel pain, I kept playing basketball and I kept jumping and running, and I was not pushing off into plantar flexion, and instead I was just forcing dorsiflexion in order to clear that foot. So now the overuse thing kind of makes sense. Yeah,
so forced dorsiflexion will do it. I did it to myself once. And this is kind of a similar mechanism to shin splints. Now, I say shin splints. There's sort of the fake shin splints and then real shin splints. Real shin splints are a medical problem emergency. That's where you get just increased swelling in the anterior compartment, and then you lose sensation. That's a different thing. When most people say shin splints, they mean a tendonitis of tibialis anterior. So I did that to myself I lived in a building in Miami. We had 20 stories, and I wanted to get in better shape. So I ran up the stairs like every day. And after a week, my tib was just killing me. That was before I was a therapist, and I didn't know better.
Were you getting pain in the top of the foot as well, or was it just pain in the front of the shin?
More shin, but it's basically the same exact mechanism. It's forced repetitive dorsiflexion. My buddy Jim just did this last year. He went to one of those Ninja Warrior, what do you call it, obstacle courses.
Yep.
And he tried to run the warped wall, and he probably did it. He's a big, strong guy, but
no balance though.
His balance is off.
If you want to see how bad Jim's balance is, I'm totally calling him out right now. Go on our YouTube channel, Motus Personal Training Physiotherapy, and watch just that video on the homepage. And the first exercise is me desperately trying to get him to be able to stand on one leg, and he can't do it.
Oh, Jim. Sorry about that. But he's jacked, so it's okay. We can make fun of him.
Yeah, he does look good.
Yeah, he looks good.
He's much more attractive than I am.
Yeah, definitely.
And he has more hair.
Sexy Jim. That's what we call him.
Hopefully we righted the wrongs.
So yeah. Anyway, so he tried to run up that warped wall, and then he was like, "Help!" He got like searing pain in that extensor digitorum. So what do? You first desensitize the area. So you could try some stretches, which is basically moving the foot into plantar flexion. You could do some self-massage, foam, and that stuff, desensitize the area. You could even try some voodoo floss.
I have been doing that.
Yeah. But then the long-term fix is improving your ankle dorsiflexion. So there's a lot of ways to do it. I wrote a blog on exactly this topic. It's called Pain on the Top of the Foot, Extensor Digitorum. There's videos in there how to mobilize your ankle and restore your range of motion.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, from my perspective, I've been doing all that. So I've been doing voodoo floss and then just, flexing and extending my foot. I've been doing foam rolling on the bottom of my foot, and then doing mobilizations and also static stretching for that ankle. All of those things definitely help in the short term. Like I feel relief once I'm done. It just looks like it's going to take a little more time before that inflammation sort of calms down.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention too, you mentioned like some like hot poker pain, like in the heel, right? So one thing that can happen, you have this whole mechanism on the back of the leg that wraps into the plantar fascia. That's called the windlass mechanism. It's all connected. And if there's stiffness in that mechanism, it can rub against your heel. And over time, because of Wolff's Law, a bone will start to lay down and you have a bone spur. So that's just one thing to be conscious of. So you want to really sort of prioritize that because you don't want to, in 5 years from now, have a heel spur, basically.
Yeah, and I actually had a client who has really stiff ankles, and she was getting that pain on the heel. And, we were trying to do some, like, even doing ankle mobility at that point was starting to increase the pain in her heel because we were just tearing that fascia away from its insertion point.
Yeah, those bone spurs are going to be a pain in the butt there because you can't really get rid of them besides surgery. You can buy slack in the system so it's not rubbing against it, and that's usually what therapeutically helps. That's basically all you can really do for it.
Yeah, and I was trying my best to do some voodoo flossing, some like less intense ways to mobilize that tissue. I don't know what the end result's going to be. She's supposed to be seeing a doctor or a physician, and hopefully getting referred out to a physical therapist. So we'll see what happens. But
you better refer to me.
That was the plan. Unfortunately, you're expensive.
Yeah, I am.
But for good reason.
Yeah.
You're pretty good.
Hey, thanks.
You're okay.
So any other medical advice you want on the podcast here?
Yeah, if you can't move your left arm, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, go see somebody. Bad sign.
Anything else I can do for this foot? Would ankle dorsiflexion, like active dorsiflexion, let's say kettlebell on the top of the foot, and then doing some dorsiflexion.
So you know the one I like, where you kind of sit back on a physio ball, and then you tuck your heel under the ball, and then you roll forward, and you kind of try to push your knee over your toes, and you can really accentuate that with putting a kettlebell on your knee. I don't think I've shown you that one yet. I have video of that.
I think I saw your video on the Instagram, but what I'm saying is strengthening my anterior tib and extensors.
Oh.
Gonna be helpful.
Yeah,
or is it more about just gaining range of motion?
Where you're at now, you can do that, and it might help because you can get some blood flow to the area, so that'd be good. I would just do it like slow and controlled. I would work on the eccentric phase, so the negative phase. That will actually, help elongate. It will help get some blood to it, and help desensitize it.
Yeah, and let me be clear here too, because the pain that I'm feeling, if you have this, is like a bruisey type pain on the top of my foot. Your first instinct is going to be, hey, I need to stay off of it completely. I need to put some ice on it, and I need to maybe even like wrap it up. Maybe need to put an ankle brace on. Don't do any of those things.
Yeah.
Just keep moving it, mobilize it, be gentle. But yeah, don't put an ice bag on the top of your foot.
Yeah, those instincts that we have, that goes like to evolutionary theory. That's like back when we lived in caves and we were throwing spears and stuff and run away from tigers. Like if you have an ankle injury, you're going to stay in the cave that day. So that makes sense for, caveman days. But we're not running away from stuff these days. So you have to move it. You can rest it. It's just going to take a lot longer, and then you run the risk of going into chronic pain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, move it.
Yeah. And definitely everything I've been doing from a mobilization standpoint has made the pain progressively less. Now I'm at like a 2, whereas I would say maybe last week or the week before I was at like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, there you go. You're on the right path.
I'm so smart.
Keep it up, John.
I just need to see. I'm a really smart guy. Very smart. Incredibly smart, actually.
You're very, very smart.
Yeah. But I'm not very good at discipline. So, like, I know how to solve a lot of these issues, but I just don't work to do it.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have a stiff right ankle for the rest of my life.
Probably.
And now I'm putting it on the podcast.
Yep.
And so now I'm cementing that idea not only in my own head, but for everybody else as well.
It's a little self-fulfilling prophecy right now.
Exactly.
All right. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. Don't try to be like me and just not mobilize things when they need to be mobilized.
Yeah.
And be in pain when you don't need to be.
Some great advice.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all we got on this topic.
Yes.
All right, John. Next week. Do you have unexplained pain? Or do you wonder just how healthy you are? When was the last time you had your blood tested? Blood chemistry analysis is a great way to stay ahead of any health conditions. And now you can have control of your health with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked is an incredible company that sends blood tests to your home. You can choose from over 30 different tests, whether that's liver function, testosterone, micronutrient, cholesterol, or C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. It's sent to you with free shipping, and you get results in 2 to 5 days, no physician referral needed. Use the code DPT20 for 20% off. Go to letsgetchecked.com and use the code DPT20. Thanks for listening to our podcast. If you have any questions you want answered, find us on Instagram at Motus Naples or send us an email. You can fill out a contact form on our website, which is motusnaples.com. Make sure to check out our blog and our shop as well, where there are downloadable programs that we'll continue to update. This is the Move with Motus podcast. We'll see you next week.